Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the Ned Reynolds. It is Thursday morning. The Missouri State Bears are 5-3 on the season. My man, this is really good. And they have a chance. They're going to have some couple, at least I think, well, looking at the rest of the schedule, definitely one, maybe two tough games. But there's a chance they could possibly get a bowl game.
If they were eligible, which they are not.
I know. Doesn't that suck so bad? I mean, golly.
Well, it does, but that's the rule, and you do have to follow that. However, there is a caveat to that rule, and that is there's something like 41 or 42 bowl games. If teams are not qualified, in other words, if some of the other schools, for instance, last year it happened with Louisiana Tech, but if a team does not meet the bowl standards, then the Bears, if they have a pretty good record, could be chosen. It's an emergency pick, but they do have that caveat in there. Otherwise, now, ineligible this year because they are a newcomer in the conference.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, they are playing very well. Last night's game was interesting. Florida International kind of matched the Bears in a lot of respects. They're pretty much an even team. But they came up here. The big difference was quarterback. The Bears quarterback, Jacob Clark, has the veteran leadership and knows how to propel his team. Now, his marks in passing were just about the same as Florida International, the Panthers quarterback was. They both had, 163, 170 yards passing, somewhere around there, rushing. That was the difference. The Bears outrushed Florida International, outrushed them by almost 100 yards. And the reason was Shamari Lawrence, who is a one-year senior, transferred in here. I'll tell you, that's interesting. 104 yards and 2 touchdowns he ran for. Clark threw for a couple of touchdowns, and therein lies the score, 28-21 over Florida International. Shamari Lawrence transferred here from, you guessed it, Florida International. He was playing against his old teammates. Now, he's been good all year long. Yeah. He's been their top running back. And but he was outstanding last night. Big holes, long runs, and it was a very entertaining football game in a lot of respects. However, with about 2 minutes remaining, the Bears had the ball and they were driving. Now keep in mind the visitors had all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Under 2 minutes remaining, it's third down and I think 3rd and 3, something like that. Timeout. Oh, this is not good. If the Bears don't get a first down, they're going to have to punt the ball, and the other team has 2 timeouts remaining. This is not good. Jacob Clark faked the handoff. Now keep in mind he has a bad knee. Faked the handoff, kept the ball, found a hole, dived across for the first down. Ball game. It was really pretty doggone good, evenly matched ball game on an interesting night, too, because a night of celebration, very first ever midweek night game, Conference USA, national television. The crowd was announced at 8,700. I don't think there were quite that many there. I would guess between 6,500 and 7,000, somewhere around there. But they were loud, and they were ready to have a good time, and they had a good time.
That's good. I'm glad the Bears got the dub. And, again, they are, 4th in the conference right now and a 3-1 record in the conference. And then 5-3 overall. Not too bad for first time.
Mike, I picked them at the start of the year to have 4 wins. They've exceeded that now, 5 wins.
Well, you made Uncle Ned very happy.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Bears weren't the only ones that had midweek games yesterday.
On Tuesday night, Kennesaw State played Texas El Paso and beat the Miners 33-20. Kennesaw State win. Kennesaw State's a future opponent for the Bears, and they're pretty good. Mm-hmm. And Jacksonville State out of Alabama nudged Middle Tennessee State last night, 24-21. Very interesting football game. Next week, the Bears go to Liberty in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty's pretty good. Now, they aren't among the league leaders this year, but they're pretty good. They went to the Fiesta Bowl 2 years ago and played Oregon, got blown out, but still, it's Liberty, and that'll be awfully, awfully tough.
It definitely will be, and again, those were the 2 teams that I've said, looking ahead at the schedule, that I think the Bears are going to have the toughest challenge going forward. But, man, so far, so good. All right, conferences across the country and other than U.S. Conference.
Some very big games coming up on Saturday. Ohio State is hosting Penn State. Penn State's had a rocky year. The Buckeyes are a 20.5-point favorite. I'm not sure that's a little bit – I am sure that's a little bit too much. Notre Dame plays at Boston College, and Notre Dame's a 28.5-point favorite. Vanderbilt and Texas. This is a big one at Austin, Texas, and the Longhorns are 2.5-point choice over Vandy. Don't count on it. And Indiana plays at Maryland. Indiana, 21.5 points. This is not the critical weekend. That's coming up, although the first college football bowl rankings do come out tomorrow night. That'll be interesting.
Will be, Ned. And man, what a great Game 5. This World Series, my friend, has been incredible.
For the Toronto Blue Jays, it has. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, this is defying all predictions, including moi. Here is the Blue Jays in the driver's seat, 3-2. They lead the Dodgers. Won last night, and here's Blake Snell pitching for the Dodgers. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. First pitch of the game. First pitch. And Davis Schneider of Toronto blasted into the seats. 1-0. The next batter, Vlad Guerrero, he takes a couple of pitches, but he hits another one out of the ballpark. Back-to-back home runs to start off the ball game, and as it turns out, that's all the rookie Trey Yesavich would need out on the hill, because the final score was 6-1. Toronto gets the win. The Dodgers, and a lot of baseball pundits are pointing this out, and rightfully so, this is not new. They have been in a slump for much of the latter part of this season, and it's carried over. Now, they did break out of it against the Milwaukee Brewers, but here against the Blue Jays and against some pretty good pitching, they're having their trouble getting things together. Still, Snell was able to calm down. It was 2-1 Blue Jays, and then 3-1 Blue Jays, and then all of a sudden the roof fell in and Snell was out of there. But in the meantime, here's a kid who was in the minor leagues in late July, Trey Yesavich. He didn't come up to the majors until sometime in August, and all he did last night was throw 7 innings, struck out 12, and held the Dodgers to 3 hits. What a performance. This guy's going to be the most valuable player if Toronto goes on to win it. He's a big kid, but just up from the minors, went to college he's from the Philadelphia area, but went to college at East Carolina, which is not, they're a good baseball program, don't get me wrong, but it's not one of the consistent national powers, although they have been in the postseason. But still, to come up to a World Series in front of 50,000 fans who are booing and carrying on and all that sort of thing, and shut down the home team the way he has, that's pretty doggone remarkable. Toronto 6, Los Angeles 1, and Toronto leads the series 3-2. They take tonight off, resume tomorrow night, which could be the final night, at Rogers Center in Toronto.
I mean, you got to think about, pressure, right? This kid is so young, and to be able to walk in there and go toe-to-toe with some of baseball's best and just look him straight in the eye and do what he's done, and he's done it consistently. This kid's going to have a hell of a career, I think.
I got to looking at him late in the ball game is when I finally got it on there, and he's still on the mound. This is about the 5th or 6th inning, and I thought, the Dodgers have him worried now. Look at him perspiring out on the hill. He's worried. Hell, it was 87 degrees. No wonder he was perspiring.
Get that guy some water. Man, like I said, though, if you like baseball, you've been happy this postseason. Hopefully you have been. At least I have. Bad news out of Kansas City. It looks like Pacheco's not going to be in against the Bills. My thought is that they're probably going to keep Kareem in the same role, short yardage goal line situations, and then lean on Burchard and Elijah to kind of fill Pacheco's role.
Well, I think you have a very good point there, and it is unlikely that Pacheco will play. And even if he said, "Hey, I'm okay," no, you don't want to risk something. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills is a big game and all that sort of thing, but still, you got a long way to go this season, and you want a healthy Pacheco who is a hard runner. You want him in there. Guy who worries me a little bit is Bolton, and I hope he's all right. I haven't heard any word out of him. This is Nick Bolton, the linebacker. No word out of him, but he has a knee injury as well, and gosh, the Chiefs really do need to have him in there. Now, he's one of the leading tacklers on the team, but then again, he's supposed to be.
Yeah,
that's the
job.
Position that he plays. Anyway, over and above all that, I think they give Kareem Hunt probably the lion's share of the running duty. But again, Mike, we point this out. This is not a one-man team. I mean, you haven't had Simmons in there for much of the season, and still they're able to protect Mahomes. Mahomes is the key. Anything happens to him, then there are problems. But other than that, unless the rest of the team comes down with COVID or something like that, God forbid, then no. He's the key to whatever they do on offense, and he makes it work. Now, the Buffalo Bills game is going to be tough. No question about that. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, though.
Well, and also to note that we picked up Mike Pennell from the Bengals, who we had through training camp. We released him. He goes to Cincinnati, and he requests to be traded. We get him back, so that'll be really nice because he's definitely a run stopper, and that's where the Bills have had their strength this season. James Cook's been pretty damn good. He's on my fantasy team. That's how I know. And yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting stack-up because in the past it was the Bills were more set up for a shootout situation, but they don't have the same kind of receiving weapons that they've had going into this. They've leaned more on the run. So,
but they are playing at home.
Yeah, that's true, and it is a hated rivalry between us, and can't wait for that mid-afternoon Sunday game. All right, we do have a Thursday night game tonight. We'll be at Coyote starting at 7 o'clock. Someone's winning a signed Chiefs jersey, and we've got two teams that are 2-5 going to go to war in Miami.
I would, and the bookies are the same as I am, go with the Baltimore Ravens in this one. They are an 8.5-point favorite, although the Ravens and the Dolphins have the same record. Baltimore has really struggled. It does look as though things are going to go pretty well for Baltimore as far as their starting lineup's concerned, but we'll see. Anyway, they take the field at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami tonight, and Baltimore being big favorite, I do think the Ravens win this game. Miami has really struggled. Now, Miami did come up with a few good wins during the course of the year. It's pro football. Anything can happen. But the fact is they haven't played very well, and I think Coach McDaniel is probably on the hot seat down there.
You think? Ned, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.